Period. Talk about computer hacking, the guy whose favorite color is black, Connor Lake. Alright guys, my name is Connor Lake, and I'm going to be talking today about computer hacking. Computer hacking has had a very tangible existence in our lives today, and it's important to understand what it is and what you have to do about it. Now, computer hacking is so broad and diverse, I can only cover the basics today, but nevertheless, let's get started. But what is hacking? Hacking in general is repurposing or changing a system to do something it was not originally designed for. For example, making a toaster mow your lawn. Computer hacking is seeking and exploiting weaknesses in a computer system or computer network. So you're making a computer do something it was not originally designed for, but usually not in a good way. So the types of hackers and their intentions can be categorized into different types of hats. First, we have white hat hackers. These are the guys that are hired by corporations to try and find any vulnerabilities they might have so that they can be fixed. I would identify into this category because if I know how to hack a program, I know how to prevent that hack in programs that I write. These are the good guys. Next, we have gray hat hackers. This covers a large group of hackers. It includes people that hack for fun, people that are hacking for pranks, and it also includes people that hack corporations to expose their vulnerabilities, just like the white hat hackers, except they weren't given permission in the first place. So they're technically hacking illegally, but they're almost like the vigilantes of the internet. These are the neutral guys. Next, we have black hat hackers. These are the guys that hack for credit cards, for bank accounts, and these are the bad guys. Like I said, hacking is so broad and diverse, I can't just sum it all up into a sentence. But I can categorize it into three main groups. First, we have password and data theft. This is what you hear about in the news. Corporations that have passwords and credit cards that are leaked online. And it's the fault of the corporation, but you still have to understand which data was released and if your data is included in that. Which data of yours could be at risk and what passwords you might have to change. Next, software vulnerabilities. Again, the fault of corporations, but you have to understand which data of yours is at risk. Finally, we have viruses. This is the responsibility of the users. You have to understand where you're getting your information and services from, and if you trust these sources. These are plenty of other terms that all fall underneath hacking. I could spend 15 minutes talking about every single one of these. Point being, there are so many different types of hacking, you have to be safe whenever you can. Hacking in the news. These are the two most influential hacks in the last year. Heartbleed alone affected the majority of the internet. Now, you don't have to understand exactly what these are, you just have to understand who was affected. If you had a Google account, a Wikipedia account, an Instagram account, you were affected by Heartbleed, and you probably should have changed your password. If not, it's no big deal, it's just about resolved now, but in the future, you should stay on top of, in the news, knowing which data of yours could have been compromised and what passwords you might have to change. How it's done. I'm sure a lot of you came to this talk wondering how hacking is actually done. What commands you type, what it looks like to hack something on a computer screen. Well, unfortunately, I can't show you some paragon of all hacking because the whole point of hacking is that you're discovering things that aren't normally seen, that other people can't see. However, there are general ways to hack. First, a flowchart of hacking. Hacking involves reconnaissance, so you find information about a system. Then it involves verification, testing it for exploits and seeing what exploits exist. And then exploitation, in which you exploit those exploits. Now, how is hacking actually done? Well, again, I can't show you how all hacking is done, but I can show you a starting place of many hackers. This is the root shell prompt of the most popular hacking operating system in the world, and it's called Kali Linux. Their slogan is, the quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. Kali Linux offers programs and software that allow you to test exploits in systems and exploit them. Now, I'm going to show you some pictures of what hacking looks like, but take them with a grain of salt. This is my own hacking. It's not how all hackers do it, and it's not how it's all done. Also, all this hacking falls under the category of white hat hacking. It's legal, and it's done to better understand the systems, so I know how to prevent these hacks against my own equipment. This is a picture of a script that allows you to start listening to all wireless data around you. This and this are both pictures in Kali Linux of me doing something called full duplex ARP poisoning. I can essentially see everything going on in a network and change whatever I want. I can change the way a web page looks on your screen. I can see any passwords you're sending across the internet. This is kicking everybody off a wireless network without knowing anything about it, not the password or anything, and keeping them off for however long I want. Now, not all hacking is done in the operating system. There's a lot of online tools as well. This is the exploit database. It is vulnerabilities published daily by gray hat hackers, and it's referenced by hackers. What about the hardware you need to hack? What do you need to actually start hacking? Well, usually all you need is a laptop. That person sitting across from you in Starbucks could very well be changing the way the web page looks in front of you. Sometimes you don't even need that. This is a portable hacking device I built. It's completely mobile, it's battery powered, and it can listen to everything going on wireless networks around it. What I'm not saying is hacking is easy. I'm saying hacking can be all around you, and you have to be safe whenever you can. Now, what can you do against hacking? Every day, thousands of people are going to try and get your information. And one of the most common types of hacking there is phishing. Phishing is a masquerade attack in which a criminal pretends to be a trusted source of yours and asks for information. Like this guy. He's pretending to be your bank and he's asking for your password. This is exactly what phishing is on the internet. However, it's not always as easy to spot as it is here. And I'll go over how to spot it, but first, a useful analogy. Let's say you just bought a new Honda Civic. You drove it somewhere and you parked it and you get out and a man stops you. This man stops you. And he says, "Hey, I'm from Honda and I'd like to take your car keys and make sure your car is secure and it's running properly." Would you give the man your car keys? Probably not. The man is almost certainly not from Honda and his intentions are not to make sure your car is running properly. This is exactly what phishing is on the internet. But it's not as always as easy to spot as this. Often, phishing looks like this. An email from Amazon about an account status notification saying, if you don't log in with this link and enter your username and password, your online access will be blocked. This should immediately set off a red flag. Is this really a trusted source? Emails are very easy to fake. So is this really from Amazon? We'll go over some more ways to spot phishing. What to look out for on the internet. These are the 4 most popular internet browsers in the world, and each one has their own way to let you know that the site you think you are on is the site you are on. And all your information going to that site is secure. That means I can't see any passwords you're sending to that site no matter what I do. This common theme of green and secure and locks lets you know that, yes, the site is what you think it is. Take 2 seconds. The next time you enter any private data on the internet, any passwords, any credit cards, look for the seal of approval in your URL bar. If you see it there, great, you're safe. If you don't, it doesn't mean you're not safe. It just means you should run through a checklist in your mind. How did I get to this site? Was it through an email? Could I have gotten here by some illegitimate way and it could be a sketchy place that's untrustworthy? Do I trust this corporation with my information? Am I at some open Wi-Fi place where people could be changing the look of the page as I browse the internet? So, to prevent against plenty of other attacks on the internet, you have to have a good password. We'll go over some criteria on how to choose a good password. It's got to be at least 6 characters long. Don't cheat yourself with something like cat or dog or 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got to be a mix of upper and lowercase letters. This makes your password significantly harder to guess. Finally, don't write it down. If you have to write it down, it's not a good password. Here's the key. It has to be random to anybody but you. And we'll go over some ways to come up with passwords that are random to anyone but you. Use the first letter of a word in a sentence. We'll go over some examples on the next slide. And finally, put the URL in the password. That way for every different site, you have a different password. Let's go over some examples. It looks like a great password. It has uppercase and lowercase letters and symbols, but how the heck are you going to remember it? Well, you will not guess this password, comma, the power of good security, and then a smiley face. It's easy. It's easy for me. It's hard for anyone else. Another one. Do not use dictionary words in your password, exclamation point. It's easy for me. It's hard for anyone else. Finally, this site is Facebook, and this is my password. And that would work for any different website you go to, and you can easily remember. It's easy for me, but it's hard for anyone else. In conclusion, hacking is a lot about common sense. Or being safe on the internet is a lot about common sense. You have to understand where you're getting your information and services from, and if they're from places that you trust. Every day, thousands of people are going to try and get your information, and I hope after today you're a little bit safer. Thank you.